Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a little chat on what I've learned at the conclusion of the Haydn Symphony CRUSADE, our survey with musical examples and analysis of all 107 symphonies. And that's how many there were. What an extraordinary journey it's been. I want to start with a little quotation from the great Haydn scholar H.C. Robbins Landon, who I knew very tangentially. I think this is an important sort of statement just to begin. He wrote, and I quote this in my own book, by the way, Exploring Haydn, A Listener's Guide to Music's Boldest Innovator. There it is. It's available from whatever publisher is publishing it now. But Bloomsbury actually has it now on their website. You can order it. Anyway, here we go. There is no composer in the history of music who achieved the astonishing progression that we may observe in Haydn's music from the Missa Brevis in F of circa 1749 to the Harmonia Messa of 1802. There have been, of course, many composers who went through a similar development in their artistic careers. Monteverdi, Domenico Scarlatti, Gluck, and Beethoven are names that spring to mind. But the road that Haydn had to travel is longer than that taken by any of his predecessors, contemporaries, or successors. From Symphony No. 1 to Symphony No. 104, or from the Salve Regina in E of 1756 to the Te Deum for the Empress Maria Theresa, 1799 to 1800, Haydn's style underwent a metamorphosis almost unparalleled in any of the arts, let alone music. It is actually difficult to realize that the same man composed the late Baroque music of the Missa Brevis in F and the Prelude to Winter from the Seasons in 1801. And not only was it composed by the same man, but that creator, starting as an almost anonymous figure in the galaxy of Viennese music circa 1750, invented the string quartet as we know it today, became the father of the symphony, the Germans called him that in 1800, even knowing that there were many predecessors in the symphonic field before Haydn, and the founder of what may be called the greatest school in the history of music. That's who Haydn was, and I did not undertake this particular journey lightly. I truly didn't. First of all, I was very conscious of the discography. People want to do Haydn cycles all the time, and they never get finished. Either they run out of funding or everybody dies or something. Covering the complete Haydn symphonies is like a curse. So I was nervous getting started. That's number one. Number two, the question is, can I do justice to this composer, to this genius, this unbelievable genius? And the third thing that really struck me throughout this entire journey is how I learned to trust Haydn. I mean, I already trusted him. I wrote a book about him. So I loved his music. I've always loved his music. But there's a big difference between listening to something and writing about it and making lists and speaking in generalities and then talking about every single piece individually and trying to come up with something to say about every single piece individually. Well, that turned out not to be hard at all, because Haydn is the most trustworthy composer. He does your work for you. He did it for me. I was always, I spent most of my time listening to these symphonies over and over again before talking about one, before making a video. I didn't write down any scripts for these videos. I wanted them to be spontaneous, but I also wanted them to be somewhat organized. To say something coherent. And I found that Haydn made my job pretty simple, because I was able to listen to each work a few times, usually on the train going back and forth to work, and then simply pull out the bits that summarized the points I wanted to make, and they were just there. They're there for the taking. They're there for the asking. Yes, you can analyze each work for the amazingly sophisticated compositional technique that it represents or came to represent throughout Haydn's career. But ultimately, he takes us with him. Landon is right about the incredible journey that Haydn underwent throughout his career. His style changed incredibly. The language of music changed, and he was the one who changed it, as I've said many times. But at the same time, he takes us with him. He doesn't ever leave us behind. He doesn't ever leave us guessing. We never have to worry about where he's going, what his intentions are, why he's doing what he's doing. All of that is explained simply by listening sympathetically. We have the incredible opportunity to observe naked genius. I mean, naked. You have to think about it. What is he? Yes, he did this for a living. He was getting paid. He had, initially a patron who had a wonderful appreciation for who he was and what his music was. His circumstances were very fortunate. But this is a gift. And I think it's a gift that's not to be taken lightly, that I think we have to cherish. And I really had no idea when I started this whole thing where it was going. I mean, it's been several years. I think this is probably the largest single project that I've ever undertaken of a, scholarly, music critical nature. I know that there's nothing else like it on the internet, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because I wanted there to be something that there wasn't anything else like it on the internet, that really, really got into the nuts and bolts of each work and gave people an opportunity to spend some really, really serious time on what is unquestionably one of the most joyful and enjoyable and thrilling activities that you could possibly indulge in. It really is. I mean, if you're depressed, if you're down, if you're looking for something to do, if you've got too much time on your hands, start the Haydn Symphony Crusade. I'm telling you, not because I'm doing it, but because the music will reward you. It will reward you endlessly. It rewarded me endlessly. I was thrilled every time I had an opportunity to make one of these videos. I wanted to do them all at once because I was just so full of excitement about what I was hearing and just how exciting it is to know that the composer has your back. Not everything I say in these talks has been correct, I'm sure. I know I've probably made some mistakes. I know I've probably missed tons of stuff. I don't have a theoretical basis in which to give these chats. I can't play musical examples for you on a keyboard or undertake harmonic analysis. I can't do any of those things. But you don't, maybe I flatter myself, but I don't think we need to. I don't think Haydn expected us to. I think Haydn gave us this gift and knew, secure in the knowledge, that if we listened carefully and with an open heart and an open mind, that the music would speak to us. And it certainly has spoken to me. It has been an absolute honor and a privilege to have the forum in which to be able to describe these pieces to you. And I want to thank those of you who have participated, because despite, the effort that went into it, it's still one of the least popular of all of the things I've done, because Haydn's reputation is disgracefully undervalued in our musical culture, musical civilization. But I don't care. I mean, I care because I think everybody should be able to share in this wondrous act of creation that we talk about. That I care about. But, the people who are missing it, it's their loss. That's the way it goes. All I could say is, please tell your friends. Get some people to listen to some of these talks, not because, they help me, but because if you care about music, if you love music, if you care about classical music, you should begin to care about Haydn. My intention going forward is to do something similar with the string quartets, and who knows, maybe other things, maybe other composers. We'll see. We'll have to see. Right now, I think I need a little rest. I'm going to take a little break. We'll do other things for a bit, and then we'll rev up the engines and hopefully get going again. I'm just so excited to have brought this project to a conclusion. And again, I just want to thank all of you who have given me the encouragement and the support to bring it home. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.